Hello everyone. Welcome to all wonderful kids of Innovera School to your science class. So children, yesterday we had started with the discussion of a new lesson. That is chapter number 5, the fundamental units of life. Okay? So we had seen the introduction about the cell. Robert Hooke discovered cell in year 1665. He started his study with the help of cork and he observed it under the microscope, and after that he compared it with honeycomb. Okay, so till here we had discussed, we were on the point where we were discussing about amoeba, that is single cell organism. Okay, there are various examples of them such as amoeba, paramecium, bacteria. These are all unicellular organisms. Okay, uni means single. So they are all single cell organisms. Whereas there are some organisms which have many cells in them, which are present at the different parts and they perform their function. So they are categorized as multicellular organisms. Multi means many. So examples are fungi, plants and animals. Okay. So in this way the organisms are classified into two, that is unicellular organisms and multicellular organism. So now very important point is that every multicellular organism has come from single cell. Okay. Initially all the organisms have only one cell. Okay, during the birth, but afterwards as the body grows, that can be plant body, animal body, as it grows the cells multiply, cells divide to produce cells of their own kind from pre-existing cell. Okay, so in this way the unicellular organisms become multicellular organisms. Some organisms can also have cells of different kinds. Look at the following picture. Can you all see all different shapes and size? Yes? See the smooth muscle cell, blood cell, bone cell, ovum, sperm, fat cell. So these are various cells from human body. Okay? So these are the different shapes and cell that human body has. Now next, let us see what they want to tell us. The shape and size of the cells are related to function they perform. Okay, now the shape of the cell is dependent on which factor? It is dependent on the function that they are performing. Some cells like amoeba have changing shapes. We all know amoeba doesn't have a specific shape. In some cases, the cell shape should be more or less fixed. For example, nerve cell. Nerve cell has a typical shape. Right? So each living cell has the capacity to perform certain basic function and it depends upon their shape and size. Okay? We all know that there is division of labor in multicellular organism. What do you mean by division of labor? It means each and every part of body is given its specific function. Okay? This means that different parts of human body perform different function. For example, human body has heart to pump the blood, stomach to digest the food. Right? Similarly, division of labor is also seen in single cell. In fact, in these cells, all the functions are performed by the one cell only. Each kind of cell organelle performs special function such as making new material, clearing up waste and so on. So there are many functions of cell organelles which we are going to see one by one now. So a cell is able to live and perform all its function because of the organelles. So cell alone can't do anything, children. It can perform all the function properly only because of the organelles. These organelles together constitute the basic unit called as the cell. Okay? No matter what their function is, or what organisms they are found in, but the cell has cell organelles. Okay, so are you all clear with this paragraph? So let's move to next. What is cell made up of? What is structural organization of cell? So now we are going to see the structural organization of the cell. That means how is cell made up of? Okay. So we have discussed just now about the organelles. How is cell organized? If we study a cell under microscope, we would come across three features. So when you observe any cell under the microscope, you will find these three main factors are compulsory there. What are they? Plasma membrane, nucleus and cytoplasm. Okay, what are they? Plasma membrane, nucleus and cytoplasm. All activities inside the cell and interactions of cell with its environment are possible due to these features. That means plasma membrane, nucleus and cytoplasm are very important. Okay, so now we are going to see one by one. Okay, so first we will talk about plasma membrane, or it is also called as cell membrane. So what is this plasma membrane or cell membrane? This is the outermost covering of the cell that separates the contents of the cell from its external environment. That means the cell has outermost covering. That covering is called as plasma membrane. So what is the function now of the plasma membrane? The plasma membrane allows or permits the entry and exit of some material in and out. So plasma membrane, it's a very smart membrane. It will allow the entry and exit of all useful material. Okay, entry of all useful material. It also prevents movement of some other materials. So it will also protect the cell from excessive loss. The cell membrane therefore is called selectively permeable membrane. Now what do you mean by selectively permeable? Just now I told you that plasma membrane will not allow everyone to get inside. Plasma membrane will only allow the selected particles to enter inside the cell. Therefore it is called as selectively permeable membrane. Okay, how does the movement of substance take place into the cell? Some substance like CO2 or oxygen move due to the process called as diffusion. Okay, diffusion we have already studied. What happens in this diffusion? It is movement of fluids from high concentration to low concentration. Okay, now something similar to this happens when substance like CO2, which is cellular waste and requires to be excreted out by the cell, accumulate high concentration in the cell. That means they are saying that sometimes problem may occur when CO2, which is actually it should be outside the cell, but it remains inside the cell. The concentration of CO2 is low as compared to that inside the cell. As soon as there is a difference in concentration, CO2 moves out from the cell. So it is moving from the region of high concentration to the region of low concentration by the process of diffusion. And during this time what happens? O2 enters the cell. Thus, diffusion plays a very important role in gaseous exchange. Water also obeys the law of diffusion. The movement of water molecules through such selectively permeable membrane is called osmosis. So, we have here two concepts. First one is diffusion and second one is osmosis. Okay, so the movement of water across the plasma membrane is also affected by the substance dissolved. So osmosis is passage of water from region of high water concentration to low water concentration through semi-permeable membrane. Okay children, so I hope you are clear till here. Yes, what are the three situations seen in case of osmosis? And the next part we will see in our next class. Okay children, so if you have any doubt related to this, you can ask. And we'll stop here for today's class. Thank you.